Whispers from the Sky, a tapestry of angels and Anunnaki. Since the dawn of civilization, humanity has looked to the skies, finding both wonder and a profound sense of origin. Our oldest myths, the most sacred of scriptures, and the most enduring of ancient stones all speak of beings who descended from above, not as ephemeral spirits, but as powerful messengers, divine rulers, and cosmic warriors. Some interpret their stories as a testament to the divine. Others see them as compelling evidence of contact with an advanced extraterrestrial intelligence. Tonight, we journey through the blurred lines of history and myth, exploring the astonishing parallels between angels and the Anunnaki, the legends of lost continents, the documented celestial battles recorded in Renaissance Europe, and the enigmatic power of the Ark of the Covenant. The stories are vast, the interpretations varied, but the mysteries, woven into the very fabric of our history, remain. The word angel comes to us through the Greek angelos, a term that simply means messenger. This linguistic root is mirrored across cultures. In Hebrew, malach carries the same meaning, while the Arabic word malak is often linguistically linked to melik, meaning king or ruler. This consistent etymology reveals a foundational archetype. These beings serve as intermediaries, bridging the chasm between the terrestrial and the divine. Long before the rise of Judaism, Christianity, or Islam, similar figures appeared in the foundational myths of Babylon, Egypt, and Greece. Winged beings who delivered cosmic knowledge, enforced divine power, or guided the fate of mortals. Whether they were symbolic representations or literal entities, the archetype of the celestial emissary is a universal human concept. Yet, in the very birthplace of civilization, the Sumerian tradition offers a different, more grounded account. Here, we find no angels as later faiths would describe. Instead, we encounter the Anunnaki, a term literally translating to offspring of the sky. These were not ethereal spirits or abstract forces. They were depicted as rulers of flesh and blood, commanding advanced knowledge and technology far beyond anything humanity possessed. According to the foundational myths inscribed on Sumerian clay tablets, these beings came from the heavens to govern and civilize a nascent humanity. After a great cataclysm, a devastating flood that wiped the slate of civilization clean approximately 14,000 years ago, the Anunnaki departed the earth, leaving humans as their heirs. In the Sumerian epic poem, the Enuma Elish, the Anunnaki are portrayed as a pantheon of gods who created humanity to serve them. Yet they promised to remain as cosmic watchers, overseeing humanity's progress from afar. Over millennia, as civilizations rose and fell, the memory of these powerful beings may have fractured, their roles simplified and mythologized into the cultural fragments we now recognize as kings, messengers, and ultimately angels. The Nephilim and the global deluge, echoes of a cataclysm. One of the most striking and controversial non-canonical texts, the Book of Enoch, adds a compelling layer to this narrative. It describes a group of heavenly watchers who, in an act of rebellion, descended to earth. They taught humanity forbidden knowledge, astronomy, metallurgy, and hidden arts. But their descent also led to a forbidden union. These watchers took human wives, giving rise to the Nephilim, a race of powerful giants, men of renown in the Hebrew biblical tradition. Said to have possessed both immense physical strength and intellect, the Nephilim grew to oppress humanity, leading to a state of profound corruption. This transgression, according to the text, provoked divine retribution in the form of a great flood, a cosmic reset designed to cleanse the earth. The story of a devastating deluge, a race of giants, and a divine reset is not isolated to the Near East. Its echoes are found in cultures across the globe. The Epic of Gilgamesh, a foundational text from ancient Mesopotamia, tells of a great flood sent by the gods and of a lone survivor, Utnapishtim, who built a massive vessel to save his family and the animals. In the Americas, the Cherokee people tell of a race of giant humanoids who were wiped out by a great flood. Even the Inca and Aztec myths contain accounts of a devastating flood that reshaped the world. This global pattern of a devastating flood, whether viewed as myth or as a distorted memory of a real geological cataclysm, remains one of the most compelling and universal narratives in human history. It forces us to ask, were these events truly isolated cultural creations, or were they all born from a shared traumatic memory of a global event? Technology. Reimagined, Ezekiel's wheels and fiery chariots. Sacred texts across cultures often describe extraordinary vehicles that defy simple explanation. The prophet Ezekiel provides a visionary account of wheels within wheels that glowed with a dazzling fire and a divine throne mounted upon a platform of radiant crystal. In Islamic tradition, the prophet Muhammad is said to have ascended to the heavens on a heavenly mount, the Burak, a creature described as a flash of light. The ancient Greeks told of their gods arriving in blazing chariots, leaving trails of fire across the sky, while devout readers interpret these as powerful metaphors of divine glory and celestial power. Alternative theorists see them as echoes of a technology far beyond the comprehension of their witnesses. Fire, light, speed, and deafening sound were the only language available to describe a phenomenon that a modern observer might identify as a jet propulsion system or an anti-gravity engine. The details in Ezekiel's account are particularly specific. He describes living creatures with 4 faces and 4 wings, and beside them, wheels that sparkled like chrysolite. The wheels moved in the 4 directions without turning as they moved. This description has led some to propose that Ezekiel was describing a landing vehicle with a swiveling platform and multi-directional propulsion. The living creatures could be the operators, and the entire construct a vessel. This interpretation, known as the paleo-contact theory, suggests that the awe and terror felt by Ezekiel were not from a divine vision, but from the raw, overwhelming experience of encountering a technological marvel that his mind could only process as supernatural. The theory, while highly speculative, highlights the perennial human need to interpret and rationalize the inexplicable. The lost golden age, the enduring myth of Hyperborea. Greek historians spoke of Hyperborea, a mythical land beyond the north wind. They described it not as a frozen wasteland, but as a paradise of perpetual sunlight, fertile lands, and radiant, almost luminous beings. Some accounts describe its inhabitants as tall, fair, and possessing an ethereal beauty. Later, esoteric traditions and occult societies, from the Theosophists to the infamous Thule Society of the 20th century, seized upon this myth, reimagining Hyperborea as the cradle of a lost Aryan civilization. The Thule Society, in particular, tied national identity to this mythical homeland, seeking its remnants in a desperate and dangerous pursuit of a fabricated legacy. Mainstream scholars rightly treat Hyperborea as an allegory for a distant utopian ideal, a place where the gods resided and humanity lived in harmony. However, alternative history views it as a distorted, fragmented memory of a once habitable Arctic, a time when a different climate allowed for a civilization to flourish in a region now locked in ice. This idea is supported by paleoclimatology, which points to dramatic climatic shifts in the northern latitudes. The persistence of the Hyperborea myth, whether as allegory or a lost memory, speaks to our profound nostalgia for a lost golden age. The great celestial phenomena of Renaissance Europe. On April 14, 1561, the city of Nuremberg, Germany, awakened to chaos in the skies. The event was so impactful that a detailed woodcut engraving was created and printed on a pamphlet to document it. It shows a sky filled with cylinders, from which multiple spheres, crosses, and rods emerged. The objects clashed with each other, and some were said to have crashed to Earth in a burst of smoke. Just 5 years later, in 1566, citizens of Basel, Switzerland, reported a similar spectacle, glowing red and black objects racing across the sky, a spectacle of celestial combat. For the witnesses of the time, these were not unidentified flying objects, but divine omens, signs of impending judgment. Modern scientists suggest these events were likely a combination of natural atmospheric optics, such as parhelion, sundogs, or rare weather phenomena. Yet the detailed engravings and the numerous eyewitness reports, which describe consistent shapes and maneuvers, remain. If these were simply illusions, they were remarkably consistent. If they were not illusions, what were they? These celestial battles, recorded with such painstaking detail, remain a compelling enigma. The Ark of the Covenant, relic of power or technology? Perhaps no relic in human history inspires more speculation than the Ark of the Covenant. Described in the Old Testament with precise measurements and materials, a chest of acacia wood overlaid with gold, the Ark was a holy object of immense power. It was to be carried only by a select priesthood, covered and hidden from public view. The biblical accounts are clear. Those who touched it improperly were struck down by an unknown force. Was this holiness or a profound hazard? Alternative theories abound that the Ark was not a purely religious artifact, but a technological device, a radioactive core, an advanced capacitor, or a device that could discharge lethal energy. In biblical stories, its power was absolute. It shattered the walls of Jericho with a sound, brought plagues upon its captors, and served as the divine presence's throne. Some see in these stories the workings of sacred power. Others see a clear record of misunderstood technology. The Ark's disappearance is as mysterious as its creation. Legends place it in a hidden church in Ethiopia, in secret caves near Qumran, or buried deep under Jerusalem's Temple Mount. Its legends are even woven into the lore of medieval orders, like the Knights Templar, who some say discovered and protected its secrets. In every version, the Ark's rediscovery is tied to apocalyptic expectations. When it is found, the world will change. The search for the Ark is not just a quest for a historical artifact, but a search for a power that, if unleashed, could reshape the future. The riddle of its existence and disappearance forces us to confront the possibility that the sacred and the technological may have been one and the same in the distant past. An unending journey. Wings may signify literal flight or divine guardianship. Fire may mean divine glory, or plasma and propulsion. Ancient texts are a complex tapestry of poetry, theology, and human limitation. It is entirely possible that some myths conceal fragmented memories of contact with an advanced civilization. It is equally possible they are simply metaphors misunderstood by later generations. The responsible approach is to examine all sources, compare across cultures, and remain open to possibility, without confusing hypothesis with established fact. From Sumer to Scripture, from Hyperborea to Nuremberg, from giants to the Ark, humanity's past is filled with these enigmatic threads. Whether the angels are divine messengers, ancient rulers, or the distorted memory of travelers from the stars, the fascination endures. Each generation retells the stories, adding their own interpretations, forever searching for a deeper meaning. Perhaps the ultimate truth lies not in proving one theory correct, but in the simple recognition that the mystery itself has shaped us, driving our curiosity and fueling our relentless quest for knowledge. The riddle of our origins may never be fully solved, but as long as we continue to ask who watched us, who guided us, and why, the journey goes on.